Okay, so today we're going to be looking at law of sines, okay, kind of just practicing some examples. So for the first example we have today, okay, they've given us angle A, side A, and angle C. So again, the first thing that I would do is write down what I know. So I know 62 degrees, I know angle C is 31 degrees, I know side A is 14 degrees. Okay, and the whole reason I have you write it like this is so that you can see, one, which ratio you're going to start with, and two, if we can find easy pieces of information, like for this one, I can find angle B really, really fast because I have two other angles, and I know that all three angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So if you take 180 and you subtract 62 and 31, you get angle B, which is 87. Okay, so that's the easy part. Now, I'm going to use this ratio right here to find my other two pieces of information. Okay, so sine of 62 over 14 equals, and doesn't matter if you do side B first or side C first. So you're going to just cross multiply. So it's 14 times the sine of 87 divided by the sine of 62. Okay. We've been cross multiplying for a while, so this should be really easy for you guys. And when you plug that into your calculator, you find that side B is 15.834. So we got side B, 15.8. And now for the second one, we're going to use the exact same first ratio. So this, what we started with, we are not going to use B because we've rounded it, and that has now an error. So we don't want to use that because it'll compound. So now we use this one to find side C. We cross multiply. And we find that side C is 8.166. So side C is 8.2. And we're done. Okay. So it's not complicated, really very straightforward. You just have to know how to set up your ratios. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one. It says solve this triangle. They've given us angle A, and side B. And the first thing I notice here is that this is the ambiguous case. I have two sides and an angle, and the angle matches one of the sides. I have an acute angle, which means I could have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. So the other thing I notice is that this is smaller than my other side, which means it's either 0 or 2. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the height. So remember, your height equation is B times the sine of A. So this is 18 times the sine of 27. And you're going to plug that into your handy dandy calculator. And you get the height, which is 8.1718. So my height is bigger than side A, which means there are no solutions. There are 0 solutions. And if you had started setting this up and you went to go find angle B, your calculator would have given you an error. Okay? But if you're supposed to check it before you even start. Okay? So there's no solutions for this one. Specifically because A doesn't even equal the height, so we can't even make a triangle. Okay? And then our last one. Okay? So again, as soon as I look at this, I'm like, okay, I've got the same case. I have side-side angle. A is smaller than B, and A is acute. So again, we're going to do the same thing first. We're going to find our height, which is B times the sine of A, which is 27 times the sine of 35. Which is 15.486. So in this case, A is bigger than the height. So I do have solutions, and not only do I have solutions, I have two of them. Okay, so here we go. So write down what we know. We know angle A is 35 degrees, side A is 17, side B is 27. Okay, so now we're just going along like we normally do. So we set up our ratio, sine of 35 degrees over 17 equals the sine of B over little b. So we end up with, when we cross multiply, we're going to end up with, let's see, oh, this is 27, sorry, 27. So it's going to be 27 times the sine of 35 divided by 17, which gives us 0.910 blah blah blah. But that's the sine of B. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you have to use the arc sine or the inverse sine and plug that in, and you get B equals sine of -1 of 0.910, which means it is 65.64 degrees. So we've got our angle. Angle B is 65.64 degrees. Now that we have two angles, we can find the third one. So we take 180 minus 35 minus 65.64, which is 79.36. And then we can find our side C. So again, set up our original over 17 equals sine of 79.36 over C. So C is going to be equal to 17 times the sine of 79.36 divided by the sine of 35, which is 29.129 or 29.13. Okay? Now, that's just one of our solutions. Okay? So we're going to end up having to do this again to find the other solution. So our second solution, A, B, C, little a, little b, little c. Okay? So this is our second solution. We start off with the exact same three pieces of information: 35 degrees, 17, 27. Okay? To find our second solution, when we solved the first part for angle B right here, when we did this, that's where we're going to start our second solution. We're going to take, for our new angle B, we're going to take 180 and subtract B1, our first B. So we're going to take 180 degrees and we're going to subtract that 65.64. So our new angle B here is 114.36. So this is the same angle measure in the second quadrant. It has the same sine value in the first quadrant. Okay? So this is where we start, right here. Now, again, since we have two of the angles, we're going to take 180 and subtract the 35 and my new angle B to find angle C. So angle C is 30.64 degrees. Okay? And now that I have angle C, I can use that to find side C. And again, I'm going to set up my law of sines and use the exact same ratio I've been using this entire time. Notice that this first one is the same all the way through, all of my examples. I haven't changed my ratio at all. It's been the same, exactly the same every time. And we're doing the exact same thing every single time. We're just cross multiplying. So it's going to be 17 times the sine of 30.64 divided by the sine of 35. And we get 15.105, 15.11. Okay? So that is my second solution. Okay? Now, if you look at it and you look at the work that we've done here, that second solution, the only thing that we did one extra law of sines. Okay? We did, for the first solution, we had to do law of sines twice. And the second solution, we had to only do it once. Here, we had to find these two angles by just using supplementary, or the fact that a triangle has 180 degrees. Okay? But basically, this is how you find that second solution. Okay? It's really simple. It's not difficult. You just have to know the process.